Yeah, good morning, everyone. So today we will look into the neuron simulation software. So all of you can see my screen, right?
Yes, Sandeep.
Yeah, okay, fine. So the first thing, the neuron simulation software you can download from the Yale University website. So according to your OS, you can download it. So what is a neuron? So neuron is a simulation environment for models that involves biophysical processes at a detailed biophysical level and also to construct a network of neurons. So it is a nerve modeling and simulation program. It allows us to create complex neural models by connecting multiple 1D sections together to form complex neuron morphologies. And it also allows us to insert the membrane properties into the sections. By membrane properties, we mean including channels, synapses, and ionic flows. And this interface is designed to present the model with an intuitive environment and at the same time hiding the details of the numerical methods that are used for the simulation. So we can see that there are three kinds of subsystems involved. One is the biophysical system. Using the biophysical system, we simplify and derive a conceptual model. And using the conceptual model, we investigate, explore, and compare, and then represent it in the form of a computational model. And we have an iterative, we form a feedback loop between all the three subsystems so as to form a realistic simulation of the entire biophysical system. So let me move into this slide share. Okay. So this is the detailed picture of that one. We have a biophysical system. Then it is represented in terms of a conceptual model. That is in terms of ionic exchanges, like sodium, potassium ions. So these dynamics of the sodium and potassium ions can be represented in terms of the different gating variables and differential equations. That can be further modeled using a computation model. Here we are using a neuron simulation software for that. So that will interact with the biophysical system so that we can fine tune our model better. So what can the neuron do? So it can model the system in terms of detailed biophysical mechanisms such as ionic flow, all the molecular level mechanisms, and also using these, it can bind all these molecular level mechanisms to create a node, and also it can create an interaction between multiple nodes. So, when we say that biophysical and biochemical dynamics, it also includes the synaptic transmission where the communication from one neuron happens with the other. And there can be different kinds of neurotransmitters that are flowing between the neurons. It can be excitatory or it can be inhibitory. So we have seen that the neural network consisting of different neurons can be modeled using a series and parallel lump circuits, which is analogous to the cable theory. So in the bottom right, we can see that how the network is formed using the cable theory representation. It consists of a reverse potential, the conductance, then it will also have a capacitive and resistive elements to it. So this is the representation of the synaptic transmission. We have the inhibitory neurotransmitters, we have the excitatory neurotransmitters. The inhibitory neurotransmitters, what it does is that it will reduce the chances of creation of an action potential. And whereas the excitatory synapse will increase the chances of creating an action potential. And these multiple individual neurons can be combined together to form a network as shown below. So it also, the network, it's not only limited to one or two dendrites. The dendrites can be quite vast in terms of their branching morphologies, which is shown in the bottom right picture. So now, and also the neuron simulation software, it can interact with it can replicate various testing experimental data. And we can, so now here is the picture, we can see that the recordings are taken from the brain. It can be, we can try to replicate that particular recordings. So this is the spikes that are generated from the brain. It can be, using an oscilloscope, we can try to model that particular spike train. It can be that data can be replicated properly using a simulation software, which also can be interfaced at the DSP board to create a virtual brain kind of environment. So now let us see the features of the neuron. It is very easy to use. It can be suited for the computation models at many levels. When we say at many levels, it includes subcellular, cellular, network, and we can replicate the experimental data quite accurately, and it can be optimized for handling tree-shaped cable structures like the different kinds of dendrites. And then it is used for simulations utilizing the event-based approach like action potentials and the synaptic inputs. And then another important thing is that we need not go into the detailed mathematics behind this of the differential equations. We can try to model it directly with the concepts that are familiar at neuroscience level. So this is a functional topology of a neuron. So this is how we will model. We have seen that we have seen the cable equations of how we represent the neuron in the last few classes, where we've seen the dendritic propagation. We see that how the soma is represented, and then in the last class we saw how the signal propagates along the axon. So in our example, we will try to do with 3 dendrites that is interfaced to one end of the soma, and then it is summed together at the soma, and then the signal is transmitted outside the axon. So this is a sample code that is used to configure soma. Anyway, we will be seeing that during the demo. And when the stimulus is provided, the action potential is generated at the soma. And when you increase the duration of the stimulus or increase the amplitude of the stimulus, we can see multiple firings as we are seeing here. And then another thing that we can see is that we saw the properties of the dendritic propagation. The dendritic propagation is like a like we have a membrane resistance that is involved, the capacitance that is involved. So the signal propagates from one end of the dendrite to the other end of the dendrite, the signal diminishes. So that is what we can see here. So we have created, so now right now it is shown multiple instances of the dendrite. So here in the branches, the topology is like that. It is the value in the bracket is between 0 and 1. 0.1 that indicates is the proximal end towards the soma, and 0.9 means the distal end. So 1 is the distal end and 0 is the proximal end. So 0.9 is where the, let me use a pointer here once. So the 0.9, so that is the location where we provided the stimulus, and we can see that the potential is quite high. And as it is propagated towards the dendrite, we see 0.1, the signal value is quite low. So now, now another aspect is the spatial and temporal submission. The input from the one dendrite may not be sufficient enough to generate an action potential, but when it combines with multiple inputs from the multiple dendrite, the inputs from the multiple dendrites, then all of these sum together may enable the total potential to cross the threshold, and indirectly and subsequently an action potential is generated, which is propagated along the axon. Yeah, one thing that I missed out is that in the axonal propagation, unlike dendrite propagation, we can see that the signal is maintaining its amplitude throughout. That is because of the nodes of Ranvier that is along the pathway. So this is the temporal summation. I just mentioned it here. The one stimulus is stimulus at the dendrite 1 is given at 125. Stimulus at the dendrite 2 is given at 150, and the stimulus at dendrite 3 is given at 180 milliseconds. So when the third dendrite and all the stimulus are given for a period of 100 milliseconds, when the third one is given, the potential is sufficient enough to cross the threshold and an action potential is generated. So now how does the interneuron communication happens? So multiple inputs from the dendrites are summed at the soma at the axon hillock, and then an action potential is generated, which is transmitted across the axon, and it will connect to the dendrite of the another neuron via the synaptic junction. And this information is passed on further. And in a network of neurons, the communication happens in a similar manner. So this is a sample code that is used for interneuron communication. So in interneuron communication, we have to use a template that is achieved using a template. We create a template and then we create an instance of a cell. And then all the intrinsic parameters of a neuron, that is soma, axon, and the dendrite, we are defining it here. So public variable we define so that it can be accessed outside this particular function also. And then we will be, this is to create the instance of the neuron. So we are interested in two neurons, that is cell 0 and cell 1. So we have the number of cells as 2. And now how does the binding of neurons happens? It is from cell 1 to cell 2, it is connected, the axon of the cell 0 is connected to the soma of the cell 1. So that is why we mentioned cell 0 dot axon, and then it is connected to cell 1 dot, and then what is that it is connected? So it is connected to the axon of the, it is connected. So we are already in the axon, and which point on the axon? That is the point 1. That is the distal end of the axon. And via synapse 0. Synapse 0 is already defined. So these are the references that I have used. One is the information from the Yale University, and then another is from the Duke. The papers, these 3 papers are very good. They will give a detailed information. And then there is also a book, a book on this neuron simulator available, written by Michael Hines and colleagues. So you can refer that in case you want to go into detail. So let me go into the demo now. So let me stop sharing and then I think I have to share the entire screen. So let me. So let me close this one. In that, once you install the neuron simulator, you can type NRN GUI in your start prompt. So you will be able to see and click on that one, that simulator will open. So there are 2 windows opening. You are able to see my screen, right?
Yes.
Okay. So there are 2 windows that is opening. One is the simulator window, that is the one is the CLI window, and then one is the GUI window, that is the graphical interface window. So what is the first thing that we have to do? Let us go step by step. Let us take a simple system. We don't have to consider any dendrite or axon right now. Let us consider a soma. So it is just a cylindrical circular section. So let us, first thing is that I'll create a soma. Okay. So now I need to set the properties of the soma. Let me access that module, and then what all properties that I can set for the soma. So so this is first thing is that let us define number of internal points at which the neuron compute solutions. So that is, it is not very important in terms of the soma, but it is important in terms of the dendrites and the axons, because the length of the dendrite and the length of the axon is very long. So I'll keep it as 1. So we can set the properties using a dot command, like or a space command. So it will set that particular property. Now we want to set the diameter of the soma. So we will give a random diameter. So let us keep it as a 100. We have to define the length. Yeah. So this is the values which I took it from a rat subthalamic nucleus. That is why I am entering this precise points. And then we have an axial resistance. So now we are creating it one by one, but we can also do it in another way. So this is in a structured form. We can just call the section that we want to configure. So that is SOMA. And then we can use a curly bracket. And what we have entered here. So we can use nsec is equal to 1. And then axial resistance is equal to 123. And then this is the this is an important aspect. We have to set the active channel properties of the SOMA. So we are modeling using an Hodgkin-Huxley neuron model. So we input insert HH. That's it. We create a SOMA here. And now what we want to give is that, let me use the paint. Okay, I will just create a. Okay, I will just create a SOMA and then I am injecting a current into it. So I have to declare an object there using an object variable, and then the object variable I'll name it as stimulus stim. And then now I need to assign the properties to that object variable. So that is equal to, for the current injection, we use the variable, and then we can mention at which location we want to give the stimulus. So now it is the 0.5 percentage, like in the middle of the SOMA, I am giving the stimulus. So yes, we have given the stimulus. Now we have to set the properties of that particular stimulus. How do we set the properties of the stimulus? What are the properties of the stimulus? What you have used in the first assignment? Either you will be using a spiky input, or you can use a continuous input. So now, or you can use a pulse input. So let us use a pulse input now. So for that, when I want to enter the stimulus, so I will introduce a delay. So let me see, after 100 milliseconds, I will start the duration of the stimulus. I will apply the stimulus for 100 milliseconds. And then what is the amplitude that I need to provide? So that amplitude, let us give it as initially I'll start with a small current. Yes. And we can, using this menu, you can see that other menu here, there is a graph, the tab called graph. You can open that tab, and then you can right click there and press view plot. And then you have to set the distance so that okay, you can see a spike coming there actually. When you set the stimulus to 0, stimulus amplitude to 0, and then you can run the simulation. You can see the flat line that is at the resting potential. So now we can play with these parameters of how to simulate, reduce the duration, reduce the amplitude, and then you can play with it and then generate the action potentials. Yeah. So if you increase the current, you can see that multiple action potentials are getting generated. Okay. Anyone has any doubt so far? So because I will be connecting the dendrites also right now. So this is right now we only introduce the how to apply a stimulus to the soma, and then how to observe this particular response of that soma. Okay, I'll continue then. So now probably you all can help me out with this command. We want to create. We can also try to modify this intrinsic properties of the this soma. That is, you can see the properties. In fact, if you enter P section, it will display the properties of this particular soma. And now you see that there is an action potential. Now we told that we can modify the membrane properties of this particular neuron. So let us try that out. Now what the property that I will change is now you can see that inside the Hodgkin X sleeve there is a GNA bar, GK bar, GL underscore HH and E1 underscore HH. So the GNA bar is the maximum specific sodium conductance, and then other one is the maximum specific potassium conductance, and GL is the leakage conductance, and the other one is the E1 is the reversal potential. So I'm going to modify the sodium channel conductance. Let me put it as 0. Okay, now let us do run. So you can see that is getting changed. Okay, so as a next step, we will create dendrites. So what is the first step that I need to do? I need to attach dendrites to the soma. So maybe you all can, one of you can help me out with what is the steps that is required to bind the dendrites to the soma.
Create a dendrite.
Right. That is fine. We have to create a dendrite. So before that, how many dendrites? Because dendrites are many, so we can define a variable. Number of dendrites we can define it first. Let's name it number of indent, and then we can create the first instance of indent is created. Now next one is create. So the dendrite is created. So now we have to set the properties for the dendrites. So we can call one by one. First we can do access, so that we are into that particular section. And now now I am not entering it individually. I'll enter it in a bulk. Let us create 5 different segments for diameter. So diameter will be very less compared to the soma. So let us, the length will be more. The length of the dendrite will be very much higher. And the actual resistance, and configure that one. And then normally we create the dendrite as passive one. In the soma we created it with active properties, but the dendrite we will create with passive properties. So that's it. We will this. If I want to create another dendrite, I can go here. I can just change the properties. Some value I can give, which can be close by. So the diameter, I'll reduce it. Oh, Second dendrite, if I want to create, I just need to change that index there. So dendrite 0, dendrite 1, and then maybe the dendrite 3, the third dendrite I can create with the same properties as the dendrite 1. So the 3 dendrites are created. So we can see so right now we are in dendrite 0. That is, we can see the properties that is being set for the dendrite 0. Now the dendrites are created, soma is created. What is required right now?
Add.
Yeah, we need to connect the dendrites to the soma. So yeah, so let me there are let's say there is a one common point here. I will name this point as 0 and this point as 1, and to this particular point I need to add the dendrites. So we have 3 dendrites. I'll use this one, and the other dendrite I will use it here. Okay, so we use a connect command. Now we have to give the identifier, so dendrite 0, and then again, so this is which is closer to the soma, that is the proximal end, and this is the distal end. So if I mention 0.1, so that is it, 0.1 is here, and then 0.9 will be here towards the 1. So I will connect the proximal end of dendrite 0 to the soma. So that is connection is done. And then in order to connect the other dendrite, I just need to go there, change the index, and then use the connect command. Okay, I think we are already getting late. So all these things, because I am showing you individually, because that will be easier to understand. We can, because these commands we are doing, it is a repetitive things. So we can use it in a for loop and then execute these commands, so that we will see it later. So the dendrites are created. So it is connected to the soma as well. And I will reduce the stimulus to, what was the stimulus name that I given for the soma? It is stim. Okay. I will reduce that amplitude to 0. Okay. So now yeah, so we can now let us see the dendritic propagation. So we can go here, right click here, and then we can first delete that element right now, whatever is there. So that is the so this one I delete it. Then we can go plot what. Let us plot the dendritic current. So 0.1, that is towards the proximal end, and then let us take another instance. We just need to modify the value here. So we'll name it as 0.5. Yeah, so the 3 instances I created. Now let us create an object variable for stimulus. Accessing the dendrite 0, and now define an object variable for better, easier identification. Yeah. So three DSTIM 0, DSTIM 1, and DSTIM 2 are created. Let us use dot. Okay, we have to define this first. New. Let us apply the stimulus at the proximal end of the dendrite, that is away from the soma. So I'll apply it to 0.9, and now same delay will apply, and then let us apply a stimulus actually, that is try to run it. Okay, something change happened. We can see that okay, it is going out of view, so we can just go to view and then view plot. It will change the properties. Now to distinguish these plots, we can right click here, then there is a color brush available. We can name that yeah. So one that is where the stimulus is given, so the potential is quite high, and then where the stimulus is when it is reaching about traveling all the way along the cable, the stimulus the potential gets keep on reducing. So yeah, so now we can check the impact of the other dendrite also. For time being, let me reduce the stimulus back to 0, and now we'll take a full neuron right now. We'll have an axon also now, and that we will see the observe the potential here at the axon. For that, we have to create an axon. And then let us assign some properties to the axon. Okay, axon also is quite long. Let us, in fact, it is very long. So we will give it a number of segments 50 so that we can easily manage it. Let's keep the diameter. Diameter is and now we have to connect it. So how do we connect it? We have to. So what would be the connect command? Earlier we connected the dendrites to the soma. So the command is here on the top.
Yes, yes.
So now we want to connect the soma to axon. Okay, so I'll use the other end of the soma, that is 1, index 1, and then proximate end of the axon, so that is connected. We'll delete this one. I'll see whether axon is listed or not. Oh, it's not listed. 1 second. Yeah, it is listed there. So we will select an point in the axon. Okay. So we will access the dendrite right now, and then we will insert a stimulus in the dendrite. So that to apply the stimulus to the dendrite, we have to go to, we have the variable dstim, and then dstim of 0 dot amplitude. Let's give the amplitude as 10, and then let's run. Oh. Yeah, you can see that that amplitude is not sufficient enough to generate an action potential. So we will go ahead. We will apply stimulus to the second neuron, second dendrite right now. Okay, so I think we haven't set that. Why the error is because we haven't set that variable. Dstim of 1 is equal to new. Yeah. So now we use the command above. Voltage is set. Still not much change. Is the voltage. Okay, first let us see at Soma what is happening. Not one. Okay, let us. So right now, what we see is that the combined stimulus of the dendrites, all the three dendrites, is not sufficient enough to generate an action potential. Let us see why. Maybe some of the properties that we set is not correct. So Okay, let us increase the conductance of the. Yeah, you can see that. So now the stimulus that we gave is quite high. That is why we are seeing a multiple action potentials is getting generated. So we can control. This is the membrane properties of the neuron that we can control here. So we can change the conductance of the sodium channel, the potassium channel. We can play around with the parameters, incorporate the experimental data to our model, and then do the testing. So this is how it is modeled. Now, how to this is a spatial summation that we saw. All the input from the dendrites is getting added up in the soma, and then the potential is seen at the axon. Another thing we can do, we can also test for the temporal summation. For that, what we have to do is that we have to introduce certain delays. So this stim 0 was the stimulus that we gave it there. What we have to do is that we have to delay. Let's set the delay at 100, and then the other one we can system 2 we can set it as 150, and then we can set the amplitude accordingly. So now let it be 10, 10, 10. Okay, that I think only 5 minutes is left, so you can try to adjust the amplitudes and then see the temporal summation that is happening. So introduce a small current in the first stimulus, small current in the second stimulus, second dendrite, and the third current in small current in the third dendrite, and then you try to execute the command, and then you can see at which point the action potential is generated. So this is what we covered right now. We covered about the setting the soma properties, the dendrites, connecting the dendrites, then connecting the axon to it, changing the membrane properties, and verifying the spatial and temporal summation. And now you can also introduce. Now what we have done is that we have the stimulus that we used here was a current stimulus. You can also use a synaptic input. So I will show you the command. Probably that would be. You can try it out yourself. So earlier, how do you create how to create two neurons? So you can create you can use a template. That is the begin template. I will go through this code right now. This is the begin template. Give a name, model cell, and then declare the public variables so that you can access it outside this function also. Soma dendrite axon, and then this is the list. What is the peculiarity of the list is that we can keep on appending that particular variables and the sections to the list, like sections in the sense soma dendrite axon. So next time you want to add like axon, like another dendrite, you just need to append it to that list. That is why we use the list. And then initialization procedure. So that is local to this particular model cell. And inside that procedure, procedure is like a function in your C language and your MATLAB, whatever your language you are using, programming codes you are using. So the same code that we did, that number of dendrites, the creating soma, axons, everything, set the properties, and now and here is where we are entering the template. And after that, now if we want to create 2 neurons, we create the number of instances to 2, and then the define a variable called cell. So that cell 0 and cell 1. Cell 0 will be my first neuron, cell 1 will be my second neuron, and then for run it in a loop for that many iterations. Assign cell 0 and cell 1 to the new model cell. So new model cell is that it will go here. Whatever inside the template, it will assign it to cell 0 and cell 1. And then for the stimulus, once that is created, then you can apply stimulus to whichever neuron you want. Maybe you can apply a current stimulus to the first neuron, and then synaptics input to the second neuron. So in the connecting 2 neurons, I have shown how to connect it using the synaptic connection. So this is an object variable synapse. So this is a standard variable for synapse that is defined. We can define maximum number of synapse that is present, like we did it for dendrite. And then where we want to connect it from neuron 1. Let me go to the paint again, and then we want to I'm directly connecting. Okay. Okay, I'm connecting it here. So axon 1 of this neuron 0, and soma of the neuron 1. So that define a synaptic variable, and then the target where you want to connect is the cell 1 of soma, and then using what you want to connect, that is using the synapse 0, the first synapse. The synapse has the property that is exp-syn, that is a standard function that is available inside the neuron simulator. And then where you want to connect, from where you want to connect. So you go inside that one, cell 0.axon. From there you want to connect. Mention the target where you want to connect, cell 1 dot. That this is the last, because we are using an NC list where we have appended the new net connections. So, and then this is that V.1. This 0.1 of the axon, that is where I'm connecting using the synapse. And then this is the threshold voltage. After crossing minus 20 millivolt, the action potential will be generated. And these are the two other. This is 0.5 is the weight, and one is that I don't remember that particular variable. That maybe I'll communicate it later. So this is how you create 2 kind of dendrites. So only difference is that instead of a current stimulus, here you are creating a synaptic input. That synaptic input is from the axon to the soma. So that is how you define it. This is how you connect 2 neurons together. So that probably you can test it out on your own. And yeah, that is it from my side. In case you have any queries, you can let me know. And one more thing, yeah, okay. One more thing that I wanted to show you is that we created the dendrites manually. So you can also create the dendrites in a for loop. So you can see that this is about assigning that particular variables. And 1 second, I have multiple files open. So 1 second, yeah. So you can see that here, the dendrite, if you just have to create a dendrite, the number of dendrite variables in the bracket. So that is just like how you define an array. And then for I is equal to 0 to n then minus 1, then you define that particular parameters. So in this case, what happens is that the same parameters get applied to all the dendrites. If you want to modify it, then you can just go to and that particular section dot, you say a dot operator, and then use this particular parameters, and then modify that particular modify the same. And this is the for loop to apply the stimulus. So now using this different features, we can create a network of neurons, and inside the neurons you can play with the biophysical properties. Like one thing, we just modified the sodium conductance, and then we saw the results. Yeah. So that is it from my side. In case you have any doubt, I can address the same.
Sandeep, there's a question in the chat box.
Oh, okay. I haven't checked it. 1 second. Let me check. Okay. Okay. How do you plot the graph on the graph tab? Okay. So this is you when you open the NRN GUI, you will get a window like this actually. So in that one, you can go to graph. There is a tab file build tools graph vector window, and then you can click on graph. You can open different graphs. That is, one is the voltage axis, one is the current axis, how much current is injected, state axis, the shape plot. So now I can show you the shape plot. What is the why it is the shape plot is that the structure of the okay, it got hanged, I think. That is about to get closed. So if you click on space plot, if anyone of you have opened and created the Soma and Accents, if you create the space plot, what happens is that it will show the connectivity of these various network elements that we have done it right now. How does it do it? Is that the whatever we created, that this is we are creating in a 2D way. That we are arranging axon, soma, and the dendrites in a 2D way. Now, if we want to place multiple neurons, it will use z-axis. So in a 3-dimensional view, we can see the complete structure in case of a network of neuron connectivity. If it is a single neuron, we can view it in a 2-dimensional view. So yeah.
Shape plot.
Yeah, space plot. So inside the space plot, you will have this 3D view, 3D rotate, and inside the 3D rotate, you can have that. I think you have
Only voltage axis, current axis, state axis, shape plot, vector movie, phase
space
change.
axis. Space axis is there, no?
Oh,
maybe you can share your window. I can show it actually because my window is hanged for some reason. I think Sagarika, you that answers your question. No, you are able to plot the graph. Right? Okay, fine. Yes, I am. Actually, if you my like neuron is hanged right now, so probably if you want to share, then I can just explain it there. Or let me close everything again and then start. Oh, but I need to create that all these network elements once again. Okay, there may be some other. Okay. Yeah, you can see that this shape plot, not the okay. I got your point. The shape plot, you can use shape plot, and then after you click on shape plot, then there is a 3D rotate available.
Yes.
And then in the 3D rotate, you can move around the network elements in a 3-dimensional view. So these axons, soma, dendrites, and all are arranged in like in a 2D slice. And the z-axis, we can place the neurons. So that complete connectivity is, as an actual brain, the complete connectivity is formed.